Hey everyone, it's Brett from Hope to Prosper, and I'm here in beautiful Laguna Beach on a spring day with my wife Maria and my dog Millie, and we're just going for a stroll, and it couldn't be a better day. Anyways, I'll let you know what I have on my mind in just a second, and thanks for coming along. Today I want to talk about knowing if you can afford to retire. I want to talk about this subject because 2 years ago I didn't even know if I could afford to retire. I was laid off and had no idea. I did it anyways, and I'm thrilled that I did. I don't recommend that for everybody because, I spent a lot of sleepless nights and stuff, and that was totally unnecessary. So I'm going to tell you what I recommend instead, a 3-step plan. It's super easy. And the moral of the story is I almost made a huge mistake of going back to work when I was already financially independent. I didn't even realize it. And so this is kind of important stuff. And I was just commenting about this on one of the other retirement channels, David in Progress. And I get some good ideas from him. And I was commenting on his video, and I didn't, it gave me the idea for this post. I was telling him how I didn't even realize I was financially independent. So anyways, I want you guys to know. So let's jump in. I'm going to tell you how to know and how to figure out if you could afford to retire. It's a really simple 3-step process, at least the first part of it. So anyways, let's start with a disclaimer. I'm not a certified financial planner or an investment advisor or a tax professional. This is just what I did for me. It's worked out great so far, so I'm offering it to you. So let's start. The 3-step basic retirement plan, or write this on a napkin plan. It's not foolproof. It's just the first step in the journey, but in about 5 minutes you can figure out if you could afford to retire or not. And this is important to know because, the 2 worst scenarios are you retire and you run out of money. You've given up your lucrative career, and then later you're broke. The other bad scenario is you work a lot of extra years thinking you're not quite there yet, and then you retire and you're already pretty old and you can't do some of the things you should be able to do in your retirement, and now you have a lot of money in no time. So you want to avoid both those scenarios. So anyways, the first step is to calculate your retirement income. The second step is to calculate your expenses in retirement. And of course, the third step is just to create a basic plan. And let me walk you through this and with a real world example that you can use. So first of all, retiring your income. Calculating your retirement income. Add up all your sources, Social Security, pensions, real estate, and investments. And by the way, you don't get all these at the same time often. Like, for example, I started living off of my investments when I was 58, but I won't take my Social Security until full retirement age, which is 67. So for 9 years, I'm just going to have one source of income, which is kind of crazy, but it's doable in my case, in my scenario. Next, choose a safe withdrawal rate for your investment income. Most people have heard of safe withdrawal rates. They're usually 4%, 5%. Some people use 3, some people use higher, like 6. You need to choose a safe withdrawal rate, and I'll go over that a little bit because that was a big sticking point for me. And so here is my basic plan. So first of all, I won't get my Social Security until 2031. At full retirement age, it'll be about $3,500, which I'm really happy about. If I really had to, I could hunker down and I could live on that. Next, I'm living off my I have no pension, no real estate income. My investments are, I started taking them 2 years ago, but basically, I'm taking about $5,000 a month, which is just over 6%. I'm kind of high on the hog right now. If I needed to, I could hunker down to 4% pretty easily. So in 2025, I get $5,000 a month. And in 2031, I will get roughly $8,500 a month. So that's my basic income plan. Next, calculate retirement expenses. A good place to start is about 80 to 85% of your working income. If you're working right now and you're wondering how much you're going to need in retirement, just a rule of thumb, about 80 to 85% of your working income. And in my particular case, I'm taking about 100% of my working income because of travel and entertainment. So you add in your retirement costs, such as travel and entertainment. In my case, let's just call that 20%. I'm traveling a lot and I'm loving it, and I'm not willing to give that up. My wife and I also go out to eat a lot more than we used to. So add to that your healthcare costs. And, if you're 65, you could probably get Medicare. There's still a cost associated with, but it's not super high. And then you have the ACA or the Affordable Care Act, or you might have COBRA. Since I retired early, I'm on the Affordable Care Act. And depending on how the government acts, it might become less affordable, but whatever. That's what I have to do. And the next, account for large one-time expenses. Things like your roof, your furnace, painting your house, weddings, college, cars, things like that. You need to account for one-time large expenses. If you have significant assets, maybe a $20,000 roof doesn't dent your savings too bad. But if you're living paycheck to paycheck in retirement, something like that could just really clobber you. So you have to kind of account for those. You might want to put together a little worksheet of things you expect and then how much those would cost monthly to save up for. And then I want to talk about one more thing. This is really important. Your costs are going to change in retirement. Experts all say this. So you have the go-go years, usually in your 60s and early 70s. And then you have your slow-go years from your mid-70s to mid-80s. And then you have your no-go years in your mid-80s. And people call this the retirement smile because you're going to spend a lot more in the go-go years. And then it's going to go down in the slow-go years because you're not going to be traveling and buying motorhomes and things like that. And then in your no-go years, your medical costs will rise. You might need to go into a home or do some other kind of long-term care. So there's a smile. So keep in mind that your costs in retirement are going to change. And good news is that's fairly predictable how much. So let's start with a basic retirement plan. You take your estimated monthly income and you minus your monthly expenses, estimated monthly expenses. You minus your savings for one-time expenses if you're saving up for things like, roofs or cars. And then I would put in a 10 to 20% wiggle room. That's what I found. I found out spending more than I thought I would be, and I'm glad I did that. And then the money left over or remaining is hopefully more than zero. Hopefully you have some money remaining or you're around zero. Because if your total is negative, then obviously you have to reconfigure your plan. And then let's talk next about checking your plan. That's just a 5-minute napkin plan. If you want to get a little more specific, you can use things like FI Calc. I used FI Calc. I highly recommend it. It's free. It does Monte Carlo simulations. It kind of forces you to put in the variables, and then you kind of know your probability of success. You can also buy something like Bolden, used to be called New Retirement. That's something that has a cost with it, but that would allow you to do like tax planning and things like Roth IRA conversions and things of that sort. So that's for a little more sophisticated planning. And finally, you could get professional help. You could get someone to do a retirement plan for you. I would recommend a fiduciary, fee-only financial planner. I would pay them the money and get a plan from them. I would avoid, or I'd recommend avoiding, putting your assets under management, in which case they keep 1%. Doesn't sound like a lot, but think about me. Like I'm living on 6%, and if I had to give up that 1% to a financial planner, then I'd have to live on 5% or 4%. Or 3% if the market went down. So try and avoid giving up some of your assets if you're living on them. So, and also, finally, I just want to make just a quick note. I'm not a fan of insurance products like whole life insurance, and I would strongly recommend avoiding annuities unless you really know why and how you're using it. People will recommend these things to you. They want to get your nest egg out from under you. Don't do it. Don't give up control of your investments. Keep control at all costs. Pay somebody else to manage your investments. Don't let them shuffle them off into some kind of investment you can't get back. Finally, I want to talk about the changing landscape, and this is kind of an important thing. Stay flexible. Things are always changing, and right now things are changing rapidly. So stock market's up and down. If you calculate based on averages like I have, you could open yourself up to sequence of return risks. And your elaborate retirement plan, it may become quickly obsolete. If you pay $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 for a retirement plan, it could become obsolete. So keep that in mind. Income on Social Security may go away. Social Security may go up or down depending on if the fund is low, or if there's a lot of fraud, it might go back up. If they wipe out the fraud, income taxes may go up, may even just disappear completely. Who knows? Property taxes may go up or down, especially for seniors. So keep in mind the landscape's always changing. All right, let's wrap this up. The bottom line. The bottom line is you have to make a lot of assumptions to plan for retirement. And it's not very likely you're going to get them all right. So even if you do, things constantly change and often unpredictably. So my recommendation is to create a basic retirement plan and build in some wiggle room. And then stay flexible and just as necessary. One thing I don't recommend, and this is directly from my own personal experience, is to avoid getting paralyzed by fear from stuff like Monte Carlo simulations and safe withdrawal rates. Those things really hung me up and cost me a lot of sleep. So I literally almost went back to work because I didn't realize how well I was doing until I created my own little plan. And now I'm doing great financially. And it's all because I built in flexibility. So just let me know if you have any comments or you have any questions about this 3-step plan or any of these subjects, and I'll be happy to try and answer them for you. Okay, everyone. Thanks for coming along this week. Hope you enjoyed the beautiful footage of Laguna Beach. It was just an amazing day today, spring day at the beach. So anyways, thanks for coming along. Hope you enjoyed the content, and we will see you next week on our next big adventure. And I wish you all health, happiness, and prosperity in your lives.